Welcome everybody, Chef Katie May here for another episode of Delicious Living. We are going to be making a core meal, one of my favorite core meals. If you're not familiar with that term core meal, it just means your staple meal, your go-to meal. But it actually, I take it a little bit further than that. So there's some unique things that make core meals so powerful, and I want to talk to you about those things today. So stay tuned, stay with us. If you have any other browsers or devices open, close those down so you can be fully present with us, because this is a game changer for sustaining, but also enjoying and really getting the most out of a whole food plant-based diet. Actually, any whole food diet, any program where you're eating home cooked meals, this is a game changer. So definitely share this episode with your friends. I'm going to leave it up for an extra 24 hours. This is going to be free for everyone. So if you know anyone that this might benefit from as we're going through the class today, please do share it, because it's a win-win. It supports me in getting the message out there and delivering more classes, more recipes, and it will support you and your loved ones in the kitchen. So thanks everyone for joining us. I don't know who's in Livonia, but I actually grew up in Livonia and Farmington Hills, and I went to school in Lansing, East Lansing, Michigan State University. So great to see everyone here from all over. And I'm actually in the Puget Sound area now. So hi, Mary Keene, just around the corner. Like I said, this is going to be a tasty one. So pay attention, because there is no recipe. I'm going to write a recipe actually based on one of my favorite variations of this core meal, but what I'm teaching today is about going beyond the recipes. As much as we might like them, some people rely on them and other people can't stand them, but they are definitely beneficial. They have a place, recipes, but to sustain this way of eating long term, we want to learn how to cook without recipes. And that is actually my intention with the recipes, even, is to just get you in the kitchen and developing your skills and knowledge and awareness of different ingredients and techniques and everything. So this is super exciting, and let's just dive in. If you guys have questions, leave them in the comments. I'm working on getting a moderator. Hopefully we'll have a moderator next week. But I will pop in to answer any questions you guys have. Shoot me an email if for some reason I don't get the question answered. We're support@theculinarygym.com, and my team can help, because I know there's going to be some people wondering things about the masterclass, because it is so awesome, and I know you're going to have questions, so I'll try to answer what I can here. And yes, let's dive in. So the core meals. Let me give you an example of a core meal template. This is what you had in the email. If you're on our email list, then it's there. If you're not on the email list, I actually didn't put the description in today. I missed that to get on our email list, so I'm just gonna really quick pull up that link so I can put it in the comments for anyone that's not on the list yet. So I'm putting in the comments a link to get on my email list if you're interested in learning more, if you're not already on the list and you just popped by on YouTube. That will send you the featured recipe actually from last week, and then you'll get notifications about the core meal and everything. And the actual template today that we're making, this is the inspiration for the dish today, is the core meal Buddha bowl template. So core meals, like I said, are basically a staple meal, one that you go to again and again. But I also, I have a little bit more technique around defining my core meals and giving kind of guidance and inspiration for making this a specific core meal. So the template you have is the Buddha bowl, and it gives you the steps involved in making a Buddha bowl. Regardless of your ingredients, it's the steps needed to prepare that dish. And then based on the season, based on what you have in the fridge, what your preferences are taste-wise, or what you need in a certain state in your life due to physical conditions like pregnancy or working out, or whether it's due to food allergies, a healing protocol that you're doing, you can adjust the core meals to fit your needs. That's what makes them so powerful. So when you learn the techniques, kind of the order, the prep that is involved in making a core meal, then you can alter it to fit your needs. And it can vary depending on your family members. So I'm going to make two Buddha bowls today. They're going to be overlapping similarities, but there's going to be a couple differences because just to give you an example of two different dishes. And the Buddha bowl is the first core meal that I came up with. And the Buddha bowl is not my term. That is a very popular dish actually within the plant-based diet. A Buddha bowl is innately vegetarian. You have your grain on the bottom, legume, vegetables. It could be raw or cooked vegetables, and it could be some other toppings we'll talk about, and then a yummy sauce on top. That's basically a Buddha bowl. But the template that I'm giving you is a guide to creating those Buddha bowls, and so you can get more of the variation. And then in the core meal masterclass, you get these templates, 10 different core meals plus 10 different templates, and then a video of me teaching you each one as well. So I'm going to do that today for the Buddha bowl specifically. Actually, I'm not even going to talk general Buddha bowl. I'm going to break it down to more specific, the Garden Fresh Burrito bowl, which is a variation of the Buddha bowl, but it's become such a favorite of mine that that's probably a core meal in itself, is the Burrito bowl and Garden Fresh, because we're not doing any cheese, no queso. If anyone is joining us from True North Health Center today, welcome. So fantastic you're taking care of yourself and made time to get to that resort, kind of like an amazing place to be. Hopefully the smoke's not bothering you too much. Today we just had the sun break through after 5 days of smoke. I finally saw the sun today, and that was just amazing. We still have a lot of smoke, but we don't need to get into 2020. Let's get back to actually what I want to mention about 2020 and everything that's happening is the power of your lifestyle choices, what you're doing day to day, including your food, to help balance your mind, balance everything going on in life. Having routine, having stability with your healthy lifestyle choices, that routine and stability in that realm helps to make everything better. And then actually what those habits are doing for you internally, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, all of that is amazing. So if there's ever a time to take care of your health, right now is the time. And right now is the time to learn this core meal, because this is something you're going to be using if you guys learn these techniques, how to do this lifestyle long term, how to love it and just really get the most of it. So on to the food. I have some beans cooking in my Instant Pot here, and we're going to let them do a natural release, and then once that's the pressure is released for 10 minutes, I'll open it up and we'll talk more about the beans. But we're going to do our grain. So rice is the most popular grain, traditional grain in the Mexican cuisine. In a burrito, you're going to have rice usually, and that's great, but I want to give you an alternative. Instead of rice, you could do quinoa. Rice does have arsenic in it, and so we want to make sure we're rinsing our rice, rinsing all of our grains before having them, but it's a good idea to get more variety. Of course, it's always good to have more variety, but just with rice specifically, we want to minimize our intake. A couple times a week is what Dr. Greger would recommend, but it's more about just getting variety. All these other grains are so fantastic in flavor as well. So quinoa is already rinsed, and I just had drained the water, put in my little bowl here, and I'm going to, this is 1 cup of quinoa, and then we're going to add 1 3/4 cup of water on the stovetop. On the stovetop, you need to add a little bit more water because you are losing water to the evaporation on the stovetop. In the Instant Pot, you would only need 1 1/4 cup of water for every cup of quinoa. Okay, and it's my 2 cups here. I'll pour this out. So that's about right. And then we're going to bring this to a boil. Add the lid here, bring it to a boil, and then once it's boiling, reduce it to a simmer. Okay? Okay, so core meals. I have the beans going, like I said, and I just made my grain. One of the ways that we make core meals so easy is by batch cooking. We make our beans, our grain, like starches, ahead of time and in bigger batches so that you can have it for many days. I also prep my vegetables ahead of time. It's not, as there's so many different types of vegetables, and some are better prepped ahead of time and some not so much. But definitely if you can have them prepped, chopped up, diced up, whatever you want ahead of time, then when you go to make your meal, you just kind of throw everything together. It's already chopped and cooked to your liking. Then that's going to save you a lot of time. Okay, so a little bit more time up front, but a lot of time saved in the end. So we have the quinoa cooking. Another starch, instead of a grain, you could use starchy vegetables. Like here's a sweet potato, and I'm going to chop this up. And again, this is something you could do in batches. I'm actually out of my sweet potatoes, so I'm just doing one here. But what do you see? Yeah, okay. So the sweet potatoes or your winter squash, white potatoes, they could be roasted, they could be steamed, boiled even if you want to, but boiling, unless you're going to mash them up, I don't recommend the boiling. Go with steaming as the most nutritious way to cook your sweet potatoes. But if you want even more flavor, sometimes roasting is a great option. So we have just chunks of sweet potato. We're going to do about 1 to 2 inch pieces, or half, really more like half an inch to 1 inch. And I'm going to put these right in our pot here. So I have a saute pan here. It's actually already warm, so I'm going to add some water. So I'm going to add probably about 1.5 cups water. I might need to add a little bit more. Put my potatoes in here. Can you see? Got a different angle today. Let's see. So I'm going to add the lid. And the potatoes on the stovetop like this don't need to be covered if you stir them. If you have enough water in here, my water's not covering it completely. If you stir them, because you'll have steam cooking what's not underneath the water. Okay. And the less water you use, the less nutrients lost to the water. So I try to minimize it when I can. Yes, the microwave obviously is possible to save you some time, but I would not recommend it. Destroys the food, not only the nutrients, but the energy of the food. Oh, Patty, thanks. You're working your way through the masterclass right now. The core meal masterclass is available on the site, and I'm going to put the link in the comments as well. It's a $60 investment, but you get it for the rest of your life, and I promise you, you will be using the techniques and everything forever. for as long as you're cooking, you'll be using these techniques. The saute pan I have is the Scan Pan. Scan Pan is a brand that I've been a fan of for years. So this is some not so great news. Scan Pan I was promoting for a long time, and I just learned that they're calling it, it's Teflon free. It's apparently a really it's made from material that is not harmful to our health. We've used it at the McDougall program. They've done their research, and that's one of the brands that we use, all the time. There's another one, Berndez, Berndez, I believe, and I was just such a big fan of it, so I've been sharing about it, and I just learned that the material they use, stritanium or something like that, I think they might have actually branded that term themselves. That might be their own term for their material that they're using, but it's PTFE, which is just another version, a different form of Teflon. Of the PFOA is a material that we do not want in our cookware, but we also don't want the PTFE, which is in the Scan Pans. So my heart goes out to anyone that I've told to purchase the Scan Pans, but I am going to go back to stainless steel pans and Salad Master cookware, which I'll be talking about more as well. But that is, yeah. And I'll be looking for other options. So I'm actually still using the Scan Pan because that's all my cookware. All of these are Scan Pans. But it has, that material also is made with fluoride. And fluoride is a whole nother thing that I can't wait to get into because, so much to talk about. And it's a journey. We're always learning more and taking better care of ourselves along the way. Always improving and growing. And that's actually one of my favorite things about life and just living, is that evolution process. So the veggies we're going to add, we're cooking also I mentioned stirring these sweet potatoes, which is a good idea. So I'm going to stir them in a little bit, but the grain, you do not want to stir your grain. So my quinoa is cooking. You want that to just keep the lid on and don't remove the lid unless it starts to, if it looks like it's going to boil over. If you can catch it and reduce that heat quicker by removing the lid to keep it from boiling over, then that's going to be great. But aside from that, grains, you want to leave the lid on the pan. My beans are done, so if we switch, let's see, to this camera, how much further can you see over there? See the Instant Pot here? It's done a natural release for 13 minutes, so I'm going to release the pressure further. The Instant Pot is the name of an electric pressure cooker that is cooking the food in half to 2/3 of the cooking time, which is fantastic. So check on these beans here. We have today a different type of bean than Okay, these are looking really good, but they're actually not done yet. Let me see. Let's switch back. So these are not pinto beans. I meant to grab pinto beans, and I actually grabbed cranberry beans. And so I wasn't sure of the cooking time, and they need a little bit longer. So we're putting these back in. Well, there we go. That's what happens. Okay, so we're gonna do another 5 minutes. Actually, I'm gonna do another. Oh. So we do 8 minutes. Okay, I want to make sure those are done. And I'm going to add a little bit more water as well. So sometimes it seems I don't add if you have your beans in the Instant Pot, if they didn't soak overnight, you want to make sure that they're really covered in water, at least a good 2 inches, because if not, as they expand, the beans that end up on the top may not be getting enough water. Even though there's more water in the pan, they may not be getting enough on top, and then you have beans that are more cooked on the bottom than on top, and that's what's happened. The cranberry beans are a little bit sweeter and nuttier than pinto beans, and so they're going to be tasty, just a little bit different than the pinto beans. And they look like pinto beans, they just have more of a red tint to the speckling rather than the brown of pinto beans. Just a quick question. I'm wondering, when I send out an email for these classes, totally logistical, when I send out an email for the 10 a.m. class, I previously was sending them out about 45 minutes ahead of time, so it was like close enough that people could join. We're reminded right before we were going live, or closely before going live. But today I sent out the email early, and wondering if it would be beneficial to send a follow-up email, or if that would be more annoying, frustrating to have an extra email just before the class started, or if sending one like 15 minutes before would be good. Just your thoughts on how many emails to get as far as reminding you about these classes. So these bowls are going to come together really quickly once I have these cooked, but I had to cook them because I ran out of all my starches and my beans, because over the weekend I've been doing lots of this Buddha bowl, specifically this core meal, and so it was just time to cook some more. But you don't have to do, whatever, whatever a recipe calls for, right? You can use whatever's on hand. So I'm cooking the quinoa and the beans and the sweet potatoes, but say you have leftover squash, like you have half a whole winter squash, like acorn squash in the fridge. That could be your base. You don't have to cook something up from scratch. It doesn't have to be a grain or sweet potato. It could be whatever starch you have in the fridge. We need that starch and some good protein from the legumes, and the grains have protein and our vegetables have protein too. But I'm just letting you know the starch isn't the only nutrient we need. You need the starch for that base of calories though, the glucose, and it fills you up, more substance. And it can be your choice, whatever you want to use. So pumpkin season is coming. We're gonna have I have lots of winter squash here, so that's gonna be a base for a lot of my my core meals. And today we're doing a lighter. I always think of Mexican as lighter because I don't use the queso or the meat, and so I go with the fresh vegetables. Like we're gonna add onion. I've got red onion and green onion here so we can mix. We've got tomatoes, and I'm actually we'll chop up the tomato right now. So I have some cherry tomatoes here. We'll chop these up. I also have a Roma tomato that I'm going to use. We'll do 2 different dishes, so different tomatoes. Having the variety is really key. When I started eating a whole food plant-based diet, for anyone out there who's brand new to this, or maybe you're in a rut and you're doing, maybe you don't even think of it as a rut, but you're doing the same things again and again. You have your staple meals, but it's the exact same thing again and again. Although that's beneficial in getting you off of the old habits that weren't so healthy, and it's beneficial in saving you time and getting you into routine. It is important to get variety in your diet, which is why the core meals are so great, because it just allows for more flexibility. When I started eating this way, burrito bowls, what I'm doing today with the sweet potato is actually was my go-to for my burrito bowls 10 years ago when I started. I'm gonna get some more water here. I was having those all the time and I loved it. And I think I was getting a good amount of variety because of everything I'm talking about, switching out the ingredients. But then I got into, I was kind of got into my business, doing this online teaching and everything, and teaching in person as well. And I got so stressed that I just relied on one meal. At least twice a day I was having this one meal, a bag of greens from Trader Joe's, the cruciferous crunch mix. I just loved it. And I would add tempeh, a little bit of balsamic, mustard, and nutritional yeast. And it was so good and so easy to do. I could make it in under 5 minutes, and the cleanup was like a 2-minute cleanup. And it filled me up so much, so satisfying, that I had that breakfast and lunch almost every day for probably like a couple of years. I was doing that. And that is not healthy, because your digestive system needs more variety. Your microbiome needs the fibers and the nutrients from all these different plant foods so that it can have a healthy balance of bacteria and actually viruses as well. We actually have viruses in our body. They're very beneficial to us. So we need a variety of foods. So finding something that you love and you'll do again and again is great, but making sure that you flip-flop some of the ingredients, whether it's the beans or the grain, the type of green, kale, from cooked greens to raw greens. You guys who's been doing this for longer, let me know in the comments how this resonates with you. If you ever got stuck in having the same thing again and again, and what'd you notice? What joys did you notice? The benefits of doing that, but also the challenges and the pitfalls. I'm curious what your experiences has been. Just checking on our comments here. Yes. Yeah, thanks for the feedback about the emails. It sounds like just one is best, but not so early that we forget about it later on. I think is consensus. Yes, love to see Jean loves a salad master. I'm excited to tell you guys more about that in the future. Okay. So our bowl here, if I did this bowl on Saturday was it Saturday? Monday, I had an interview with Plant Fit Summit, and I made the Garden Fresh Burrito Bowl and my Thai Peanut Bowl. So when the Plant Fit Summit comes out on Saturday, I'm going to be letting you know about joining the Plant Fit Summit, which is all about optimizing our diet for performance and delicious living, really. I mean, that's what it comes down to, even for Toby and Luke over at the Plant Fit Summit, but optimizing for performance in our life in every way, not just athletic, not just with working out and things like that, but your brain health, your heart health, your performance of all the systems in your body are optimized by a whole food plant-based diet. And so on Monday I did my interview talking about thyroid health. We talked about Hashimoto's and autoimmune thyroiditis, and then I showed how to make 2 delicious meals. So stay tuned for that email to sign up for it. But that actual interview isn't going to be until the beginning of October, I believe. So let me flip over to if I can show you. This is the core meal if you want to register, but I wanted to show you the actual template. So This is the Buddha bowl, one of the core meal templates that I give you. And you can see how it has instructions here at the top. Ready, oh, there we go. Zoom in, zoom out a little bit. It gives you the instructions on how to make this core meal, and then some tips about different ingredients that would work really well, and different flavor combinations. But I have 10 of these core meals, and in my on the registration page you'll see them all listed here. So if you're interested in checking out these core meals, there's the craveable salad, the sassy stir fry, the veggie noodle bowl, bodacious burger, superhero stew. Getting guidance on how to make all of these core meals is going to be really helpful. But I'm also going to throw in a couple new core meals I want to teach you that are not on this list. So that's like a bonus for anyone that wants to join now. And I also want to let you know that I have a brand new community platform here. This is off of Facebook. We have a separate community that is going to be allow us to go deeper and connect more. Oh, I'm just stirring my sweet potatoes here. So the community, I love that you can see the directory. We can actually get to see people, get to know each other. You can fill out a profile if you want to or not. It's up to you. But the core meal method, this masterclass, it's going to have its own private community, and this will be a place where we can converse about the core meals, share pictures and everything. And I have all of the core meals ready for you to download here. And it's just going to be a lot of fun. We can have discussions. So this is going to be a great support system for anyone who wants to really master the core meals. You'll get access to this. If you join right now, I have to manually add you to the community. So if you join like this second, you won't have access immediately, but my team will get you in within 24, 48 hours. You'll be in our community. So hopefully, oh, you don't need to see that. That is something if that is something you'd like to do, then definitely join us. Consider joining us. And if the price is too much, if that's really a barrier for you, please email me and let me know, and maybe we can work something out. But this is worth the investment for making your life a little bit easier in the kitchen, and making your meals a little bit healthier. And it also allows for you to make them more flavorful too, because you're learning to do, when you do something again and again, you can refine it and you can improve it, and you learn what you like, what you don't like, right? And you can get into a rhythm, and then you can have your ingredients on hand so that you can, for instance, I love using this salsa, a homemade salsa instead of buying a store-bought one. I'm actually going to be working on a recipe for this so I can share it with you, but the salsa, having that on hand makes all the difference, because it's such an amazing sauce to put over you, whether it's Mexican or if you even want to add it to other things, you can do that. So the community group is, it's just the Culinary Gym community. And there's the Delicious Living is actually our membership program, which gives you access to our archive of all of the Delicious Living videos every week now, and you get some other benefits as well, including a discount on our master classes, and a live Q&A session, and an expert interview. We're just starting that this month. So Delicious Living is our membership program, but the core meal method, this masterclass, has its own private community. Just like PC 101, my plant-based cooking 101 course, it's going to have its own private community, but we're not there yet. So if you took it in the past, you'll be hearing about me from me in the future when it's time to join the community if you want to. Okay. So it's almost time to start putting our bowls together here. I'm going to chop up, my onion is already chopped and my green onion is chopped. We can use that too. I'm going to chop up a bell pepper. It's so nice to have things already prepped. So when you think about batch cooking, also think about batch prepping. That's what I talk about a lot in PC 101, my introductory course to learn how to cook with whole plant foods. That is available now too if anyone is interested in joining that, but the core meal is just such a great place to start as well. So we have our bell pepper, and I'm just going to chop this into diced pieces here. Once you really master the batch prepping, you can get down prepping your vegetables in different shapes. So maybe you have some bell pepper diced up, and then you have some bell pepper that is sliced. So depending on how you're going to use it, you might put the diced pepper into a salad, but you might want sliced bell pepper for a stir fry. So you can start to consider things like that once you really get into the batch prepping and get into a routine. Okay. Our bell pepper's ready, and now we have an avocado I'm going to add. Oh, one other ingredient I didn't get started because it's out of sight. We have kale here, green onion, bunch of kale. It's actually a small bunch. I prefer a little bit bigger that I would have eat the whole bunch in one meal. So I'm going to chop our kale. I feel like kale it's definitely one of my go-to greens because it's so easy to chop so quickly, and it cooks up so quickly. It's just ready in no time. So I'm going to transfer my potatoes here into our bowl, one of our bowls we're going to use. And then we're going to cook our kale in this pan. Okay, so I'm adding all of my kale to this pan. We're going to add a little bit more water, about half a cup, 3/4 cup of water. Again, I add just enough water to steam the greens. I'm not boiling the greens here, and I'm not sauteing them. I'm not stirring the greens. I want to steam them. Okay. And all right. So let's our beans hopefully are done. The timer went off. We just got to open those up. Linda asks about the core meal, the new core meals being available to those who have already purchased. Yes, they will be added to the group, and anyone who's already purchased the core meal method will be invited into the new core meal community. If they want, you'll have to activate your account for the community because it's on a different platform than the training platform. The training is on theculinarygym.com. The community will be on community.theculinarygym.com, but it's taking a little bit of time to get that URL. So it's a different URL right now. But anyways, you'll get a link to activate your account, create a profile, and be able to join. I don't want to just add everyone, blindly. I only want you there if you actually want to be in our community. So, mixed opinions about when to send out the email. The replay for this will be, if anyone's just joining us, the replay will be available for 24 hours usually, but today I'm going to make this available for 48 because we are talking about the core meal method, and I want to make sure everyone is aware if they want to join the benefits of the program and learning this method. And a lot of these questions, you guys are asking great questions. If you do want to go deeper and learn more, PC 101 is where we cover in detail the things about the kitchen equipment, knife skills, washing vegetables, all the details of living this lifestyle and preparing this food. Most of the time I buy organic vegetables and I wash my vegetables with water. If they're extra dirty, then I might add in some salt in like a salt bath based on Dr. Greger's recommendations of the best way to wash your veggies. I don't buy any like veggie wash or anything like that, but usually just water and a scrub brush for things like potatoes and such. The knife I'm using, this is Cuisinart Elements. It's a ceramic knife. It's really sharp. It's really fantastic. But ceramic knives are very delicate. They can break easily, so you have to be careful with that. Yeah, so potatoes, it depends on your potatoes, but yet it depends on the size of the potato, and white potatoes take longer than sweet potatoes, 10 to 20 minutes depending on the size and the type. Okay. The core meal is not part of the core meal method masterclass is not part of PC 101, but PC 101 is actually where I started with the core meals. The PC 101 course is a 6-week course, and each week has one core meal. But the core meals were loved so much in that course that I then made an entirely separate course just for the core meals, and I added more core meals. The membership for Delicious Living is right now on the website. It's $60 for 3 months, so $60 a quarter, but I am going to be changing that to $20 a month, or $199 for the full year, which is the best deal. So if you want that immediately, Martha, if you want the $20 a month thing, or anyone else, email us support@theculinarygym, and we'll get you a link to join at that rate as soon as we can. Okay, so I'm going to put our dishes together here. Our kale is done. So in this Buddha bowl here, we're going to make one of these without the kale and one with. And the one that I'm making without the kale, I'm going to tell you something else. We're going to do something else to add more greens to that dish. Yeah. Ooh. These pans are heavy. Heavy. It's good though. I love kale. My favorite type of people, I'll just tell you, my favorite type of people are those with a growth mindset. Growth mindset where you believe you can grow and become better. And you're actually interested in pursuing that, working on it. Totally off topic, I guess, but when pans are heavy in the kitchen, strengthening your muscles by using them instead of trying to find a lighter pan. I guess that's what triggered my thought on that. Okay, so we have our greens here, the kale on the bottom. Then we want to add in our quinoa and our beans. Put this over here. Okay, our quinoa all cooked up, and this I made enough for a couple days worth, so I'm going to be enjoying this later on. Let's see this. We'll put a little bit of quinoa here. Whoa! start coming out fast. Okay. And then our beans, grab our beans. There we go. So let's put some beans right from the pot here. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, those are beautiful. Okay, look at those. These are the cranberry beans. They're nice, fully plump and cooked. Super hot. Okay. So there we have that dish. We'll add beans to this one as well. Okay. So we've got beans. We're going to add some red onion. Red onion to each. Oh, that one. And there's one more thing I'm going to add here. I've got some frozen corn, and I'm just going to heat up some of this corn. In our pot here, we had used before. Just a little bit of corn added to this bowl. You can see I can do things differently. So a little more. Organic corn, always organic corn, so it's not GMO. Okay, then we have some red onion. All right, let's add red onion here. We'll add green onion to this dish. And then our tomatoes, right? Lots of, tomatoes are so amazing. And some avocado. Should we add some avocado? Did I open this yet? I started to. Let's see. So, slice our avocado in diced pieces. Oh, Fabian, that's so true. Well, some people may not want to hear that, but when you stop growing, you start dying. You're always growing or dying. I mean, it's true. So we have a spoon here, take out just reading Shane's question. When you batch cook and things are in the fridge, how do you reheat if you want hot food, not using a microwave? I use the stovetop. I'll do like what I've been doing with the black beans and quinoa I had all weekend. Was I put the black beans in the small saucepan, heated them up, and there was black bean liquid there too, so it was a little bit of liquid. Heated it up, and then I added the quinoa on top and just let it sit. So the quinoa was basically being steamed from the black beans. And that worked out perfectly. Just saves you a pan so you don't have to reheat in separate pans. I'm going to, for this one here. We're going to take out our pit and slice some avocado. Some over. A couple slices there. And the corn, I was just reheating up here. We have a guest. We have a guest here at my door. Someone's coming for lunch. So I should open it. Surprise guest, you guys. Let's see if she's, I don't know if she'll want to come on camera. We'll see. I'm on camera. I said you're here. We're making a burrito. Come on. No. Mom's not ready for the camera this morning. But we are making 2 different burrito bowls. If anyone is just joining us, we have our veggies, grain, bean, and the sauce is the salsa, homemade salsa, tomatoes, cilantro, jalapeno, garlic, a little bit of this, and we're going to add our corn to this bowl. All right, and then some salsa here too. And a little bit of lime, extra lime juice, squeezed over the top. And we have cilantro as well. So with cilantro, when I'm only using a little bit just on top of something like this, I'll just grab the herb scissors and chop some cilantro. These herb scissors, the brand I have is Genaluca, Genaluca, but there's probably other brands if you look up herb scissors and look for ones that have multiple blades. Okay. I'm not as big of a fan of cilantro as my mom, so we're going to add more here. What do you guys think? If you are interested in making this garden fresh burrito bowl, definitely give it a go. I'm sure there's a lot of overlap, a lot of things you guys have done before if you've lived in this lifestyle. Burrito bowls are just one of those dishes that plant-based people love because you get to add the whole foods, individual whole foods, which is, I think, the best way to have dishes. Enjoy our food because you get to have the flavor of each individual ingredient rather than them being all intertwined like in a casserole. Casseroles are fabulous too, but day to day, these are my favorite type of meals, and they're the easiest to put together. And then you get to flip-flop things, the different ingredients, mix and match the different sauces you might use. So hopefully you guys are inspired by this. See here, our meals, which way? Like, which camera we're using? This is just one. Garden Fresh Burrito Bowl is just one version of the Buddha Bowl. And I have the Thai peanut bowl as well. And the Thai peanut bowl, we are going to, if you join the Core Meal Masterclass, I'll actually give you a recipe for the Garden Fresh Burrito Bowl and the Thai peanut bowl. But it will come out in Plant Fit Summit too, so you'll get it there if anyone is not wanting to join the core meal method but wants that recipe. And then we go over 9 other core meals, and I'm going to throw in a couple bonus ones. So definitely check out the core meal method if you guys are interested in joining that. The link I shared before, I'm going to share it again for anyone who wants to join us. This is $60, but it is so worth it. You get lifetime access. You go at your own pace. I drip each module so that you actually have the time and presence to get into the kitchen and practice each core meal, so you don't get all of them at once. It's dripped over a period of time, but you can go at your own pace. Once you have access to the module, then you can watch it as you wish. So there's a video for each one, but my favorite part is the templates, the beautiful templates that will help guide you. So you print them out. You can put them in a binder if you guys have like a recipe binder in your kitchen. Maybe you even have, if you're in Plant-Based Cooking 101, you have your own culinary gym binder with all of the printables from that course. You can add these core meals to that binder, and it's just a really easy way to be a little bit faster and a little, depending on your need for the day, your mood for the day, you could be a little more mindless in the kitchen. Not ideal, but you could just throw things together a little bit easier when you have the core meal templates. And then once you actually know the core meal templates off the top of your head, way easier to be a little bit more carefree in the kitchen and not need as much attention. Or it allows you to be more creative and put more time into making these meals and making them really tasty and fabulous. Just getting in a rhythm with the core meal, and then refining and substituting, just to what's in season, what's your preference that night. So hope you guys loved these. Stay tuned for tomorrow's show. Thursday, I'm actually it's a toss-up. I was either going to do another core meal, show you another core meal, or make apple pie granola and yogurt. So if you guys want the yogurt and apple pie granola, let me know. I'll do that tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll do another core meal, which I'm not sure what that would be. Maybe a stew, or like a butternut stew would be good. And I'm sure people are going to say both options are good. So we'll see what the majority say. Yes, some potlucks would be fabulous. Mary Jean and Diane, I'm all on board with that. Thanks so much, you guys, for joining us today. Stay present. Stay present with what's in front of you. Don't get distracted too much by everything happening outside in the world. There's a lot. Be present with what really matters to you right here, right now. And your food is one of those things. So enjoy the food. Enjoy being present and the flavors and everything. Definitely. Oh, Barb says another core meal. Granola could wait. Granola is definitely a fall-time dish, and we've got a couple more months of fall. So I love connecting with you guys. Really, I just love seeing the comments come in and seeing what you guys think about everything. So I also will mention, I mentioned in the email this morning, but I teach the cooking, but I can't cover all the different topics that I want to cover. I can't get deep into nutrition or food addiction. I talk about a little bit, but I can't cover in detail all these things I want to cover. So in the next couple days, I'm going to be sharing some events and resources from a couple partners of mine, people that I align with very much. I don't share anything that I don't believe in, but I will be sharing a couple of things from partners. And so if you are interested, then obviously register and get the most bang for your buck out of those. They're free resources, so it's not like you're paying for them, but then they, obviously there will be offers to support them as well. But if you don't want those, ignore them. No big deal. And if you don't want to see those emails at all, email me and say no partner emails. Just say no partner emails, and we'll make sure that we're not bothering you with any of those emails. But it is really great support for yourself and for your loved ones to continue expanding your knowledge and learning about all the different topics that will support a healthier way of living and being. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a delicious Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow evening. Bye.